Chapter 2 of Emma Ballard in the Crystal Book, The Black Hole. The shimmers of first light across the sea of black erased twinkling reflections one by one. The predictable sunrise squeezed its fingers between two realms, decisively dividing one from the other. The ocean tinged cerulean blue, the sky heavenly pink, reflected one another to the delight of waving mermaid tails and leaping dolphins. Lapping waves of a now azure sea caressed the golden sands of Ballard Island. Fingers of light groped onward across the many gardens and through open windows of the Ballard Manor. Steadily creeping to where Emma lay, the scent of lotus blossoms long dissipated, the rays cast a veil of waking light onto pale orange walls. Emma took no notice. Trapped, her body twitched, her legs kicked. In the darkest depths of a black hole, an invisible force pulled her, helplessly falling with nothing to grab onto. In the darkest depths of a black hole, she clawed for anything to hold on to. Slipping to the point of no return, her lightless void lit with a shimmer of shadows. The intensity of two luminous eyes stared into hers. A miserable groan escaped her lips. She heard a faint flutter of wings, eerie tentacles with suction cups, the size of saucers, slithered towards her. They attached with a clammy clasp. The tentacles wound around her. They tugged on her body, squeezing the very breath from her lungs. They wrapped tighter and pulled harder, growing thinner and not letting go. And with a snap and a sense of weightlessness, she grew limp. And the tentacles gave one last tug. And taking a deep breath, the sort of breath taken after holding it underwater beyond one's limit, Emma sucked in precious air with a wheezing gasp. A sudden sharp pain on her arm, so sharp she bolted straight up, woke her. Ouch! Merlin, what are you doing here? She grabbed the raptor in a hug. Merlin, I was in a really scary place. He chirped as if to say, that's quite enough, spread his powerful wings and flew to the windowsill. Emma exhaled an awkward yawn, accompanied by a shaky stretch. Oh, Merlin, thank you for waking me. Oh, thank you. Merlin swooped off with a piercing cry, and Emma shuffled to the window. I mean it, Merlin. Thank you for waking me out of my crazy dream. And rubbing her arm, she winced. That hurt, you know. And she slowly sunk down at her vanity. The mirror quivered. Her image quivered with it. Brown eyes glared back at her. Why is that? She stared closer. I hate this. My eyes aren't brown. Emma brushed at her tangled mess. I hate my hair. The reality of yesterday's events flooded back. She slammed down her brush, fussing at herself. Why did you have to get expelled? Why did you? Oh, really, this is too spooky. Why does my reflection disappear when I get angry? I hate that. She yanked off her school shift and threw it over the mirror. A familiar sound soothed her. Bark, 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 bark. Happy for the distraction, Emma dressed and made her bed. She slid down the banister, grabbed the egg basket, and ran out the kitchen door. The hens ignored her. They were too busy scratching around the garden for tidbits of sustenance. Emma skipped by and opened the door of the hen house. Eek! She gasped. A hairy spider dangled in front of her, with spindly legs splayed outwards. 4 eyes, shining oily green to purple, stared at her. Don't scare me like that, Emma demanded, squeezing herself past the suspended surprise. Well, at least you're not as scary as my dream. And taking one egg from each box, she knew whose egg was whose. Each hen laid a different colored one, and the last box had no egg. She held her breath past the spider and closed the henhouse door. Thank you, Delphina, Penelope, Fiona, Fedora, Josephina, Cheetah Face, Smarty Pants, Princessa. And Bean, why didn't you lay an egg? Not waiting for an answer, as if she would get one, Emma ran back to the manor. She held the basket out in front of her to keep it steady and hopped up the veranda steps. Oh no, ow! The basket flew across the deck and Emma crawled towards it, fearing the worst. Please don't let them be broken, she whispered. Please. Are you all right? Flo asked, standing by the door. Emma frowned. Here are the eggs. Bean didn't lay one. Don't worry, only 2 or 3. No, 3 are cracked. I will use them in my baking this morning. You missed dinner last night. Are you hungry? Emma limped into the kitchen, rubbing her knees. Silky soft fur brushed up against her leg. Leave me alone, beastie. Flo knew this wasn't right. Emma loved her snowshoe kitty. Emma stepped up to the large apron sink to wash up. Ooh, I don't like the smell of this soap. You always loved the smell of lemon. Emma sassed back. Well, I hate it now. Flo noticed the red mark on Emma's arm and that her skin was turning ashen gray. Emma, tell me what happened here on your arm. A shiver ran down Emma's spine. Merlin bit me. I was in a really scary place. Look at my stomach. Look at these red rings. Scary tentacles pulled on me and it hurt. Relieved Merlin had been there to wake her, Flo knew Emma had another episode of a portal dream. She reached for her crystals on the windowsill. I am glad he woke you. What a magical soul he is. Here, let me heal these for you, and this will help you forget about your scary place. Where was it? Emma shuddered again. I will be happy to forget that black tunnel sucking me away and creepy tentacles squeezing me. I couldn't even breathe. I feel yucky, Flo. Flo placed a green crystal on Emma's arm and tummy and a blue one to her forehead and quietly repeated, Merlin is a very wise soul indeed. The marks on Emma's body vanished. Her natural color returned, and Flo gave her a squeeze. Yup, your energy level is back. The long-time housekeeper, healer, gardener of crystals extraordinaire to the Ballard family, wore her thick purple hair in a braided bun, held in place by crystal-knobbed hairpins. Her eyes sparkled ocean blue, quite possibly bluer than Beastie's. Her hands noticeably oversized, especially for a petite person with such tiny feet, exuded strength. Rightfully concerned, for a rare genetic mutation ran in the Ballard bloodline, Flo grimaced, for she knew Emma had been born a portal dreamer, the gene considered a curse. What Emma didn't know, that the black hole haunted her through her portal dreams since she was born. Just the memory of it too dangerous, and that could take her closer to being lost into the lightless pit forever. Therefore, Flo erased the experience each time it happened with a crystal grown just for that purpose. Flo cringed in the grasp of a flashback memory, the night she had been taking care of Emma's mother, a mother close to giving birth to twins. Emma's father, gone on a quest, planned to be back in time for the birthing, but there was a change, and a change too quickly. Flo shuddered at the vivid recall, the mother's cry during a rare thunderstorm. Flo, my babies are going crazy. What's happening? This can't be normal. They're fighting something, Flo. My belly. Does it seem smaller to you? Flo had swept the crystal of rest across them and then touched the baby bump. Where did you go, little one? Where did you go? She consulted the crystal book. Oh, Pathos, you saved one. She snapped out of her vivid memory, mumbling, Please protect. Emma tapped Flo's arm. What are you saying? You look frightened. What do you mean, protect? Did I say that? Yes. Oh, it's nothing. Now, get out in the sunshine and eat. Emma sank into the wicker chair on the spacious green veranda. No memory of the black hole gripping her. She mused the sun kissed each flower in the vast gardens, and that each flower returned a kiss with a burst of color. She listened for the familiar sound she knew so well, Fry clipping away in the garden. Fry, tall, large bone, his brown skin flawless and smooth, kept the magical gardens of Ballard Island in continuous bloom. He always wore rolled-up short-sleeved shirts revealing solid muscular arms, and he had watched over Emma playing in those gardens since the time she could crawl. Emma flopped back, propping her feet up on the yellow and white striped cushions of the ottoman. Glad for summer, her thoughts turned to sea camp. No one from her school would be attending except Gabe. It would be his first year to attend sea camp, too. Emma giggled to think the boys had to wait till they were 12 and the girls could go at age 10. She wondered why. And why won't anyone talk about it? They just say you're going to sea camp. Well, I want to know what it's like. Maybe I don't want to go, she said out loud. She wanted to go to Camp La Sagra, where most of her classmates were going. But no matter how much she begged, her parents insisted on sea camp. The sound of clip-clop, clip-clip turned to clip-clop. Or the sound of clip-clop broke the sound of clip-clip. It broke her train of thought. Gabe, Scout, Primbo! Come ride with me, Gabe called out astride his brown and white paint pony. Gabe, with a soon-to-be 12th birthday within days of hers, stood tall for his age. Full black locks of hair fell to his shoulders. His genetic mutation, a double row of eyelashes, made his lucent green eyes almost too beautiful for a boy. He led Emma's pony Primbo, a dapple white. Primbo pranced, shaking his head and snorting next to Scout. Emma gulped her juice. See you later, Flo. I'm going for a ride with Gabe. Flo shot her a stern look. Nope, you're going to wash your breakfast dishes. We have rules around here, and we must not break them. Emma wondered if Flo knew. I have something to tell you about school yesterday. Flo ignored her and walked to the door. Morning, Gabe. Hop down. Come get an apple for the ponies. Gabe slid down and dropped the reins. The ponies stood waiting. With their reins on the ground, they knew to stand in place. Emma tossed Gabe an apple and made a quick wash of her bowl and glass. Gabe snapped open his pocket knife. Want to help me release the bird? I was hoping you would come with me. Well, it was really Grandpa who suggested it, he admitted. Emma held out her hand for a few slices of sweet fruit. Do I get to carry the bird? Gabe rolled his eyes. Nope, it's a raptor, too big for you. Emma rolled her eyes and handed Flo a piece of apple and hopped down the steps. She wrapped her arms around the pony's neck. Primbo, my beautiful sweet Primbo. Gabe noticed Scout facing away from him. Hup, he warned, and took a flying leap right onto Scout's back from behind. Wow, a trick riding mount, Emma laughed. Gabe boasted, standing on Scout's back. I'm working on a handstand next. He slid down and pulled the last of the apple slices from his pocket. Juicy, crunching sounds and half-closed eyes made for two happy ponies. I can stand on Primbo. Watch, Emma said. Gabe clicked at Scout to move on. Come on, Grandpa's waiting. We can practice trick riding later. Flo leaned against the doorway, watching them ride off. I'm sure going to miss those two this summer. She bent down to pet Beastie. 10 long years of always having to be so positive. It's almost over. Emma will be at sea camp. Finally, we won't have to be so darn positive all the time to keep that dread black hole from taking her. It's been like walking on thin ice around here. She now had to consult the crystal book. She had something to discuss with the tentacled one. And next is Chapter 3, Another Hole.